A young girl who belonged to a small town in Ukraine. Surrounded by the sounds of war bombs exploding and buildings collapsing, she held on to just one dream: to survive and to begin a new life in America. But what she didn't know was that the very country she thought would protect her would soon become the stage of her murder.
Today's story is not just another crime case. It is one of the most shocking tales America has seen in recent years. Out of all the stories I've ever covered, this one is darker, more dangerous, and far more heartbreaking. Her name was Iryna Zarutska, a 23-year-old girl from Kherson, Ukraine. She had escaped a brutal war in search of peace. She thought America would give her a new life, a safe life. But what she didn't know was that death was already waiting for her in this new land. Anastasia was born in Kherson, a city that later became one of the bloodiest battlegrounds of the Russia-Ukraine war. Her father was an engineer, a hard-working man who died during the shelling. Her mother stayed behind in Odessa, too weak to travel. Her younger brother Ivan, only 15, was left behind as well. Anastasia's childhood was stolen by war, but she carried her dreams with her, dreams of freedom and of saving her family. When bombs fell closer to her home, Anastasia decided to flee. She traveled through Romania, crossed into Poland, stayed briefly in France, and finally found her way to America. In the summer of 2022, Anastasia landed at JFK Airport in New York. She carried only a small backpack, her passport, and a notebook full of sketches. Later, she settled in Chicago, working as a waitress in a local cafe. She spent her nights learning English and writing letters to her younger brother, promising him that one day she would bring him to America too. Life was not easy, but Anastasia was a fighter. She shared a small apartment with 2 other Ukrainian girls. She worked long hours, kept to herself, and always carried her sketchbook wherever she went. To others, she was just another immigrant. But in her eyes, there was both pain and strength. But behind her fragile smile, a storm was coming. She didn't know it yet, but her name was about to be written in America's darkest headlines.
And we are hearing from a commuter on board the train when a refugee from Ukraine was stabbed to death.
Charlotte last month when a man attacked her from behind for no reason. And new surveillance video shows what happened. President Donald Trump commented on that new video today.
Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
Public records and reporting show Brown had several prior arrests and convictions, including violent crime-related incidents, and family members with criminal records have also drawn attention in the aftermath. Decarlos Brown Jr., 34, emerges in this story not as a shadow, but as a name. A man with a long criminal record and a troubled past who, police say, carried out a sudden, brutal attack on a commuter train. Authorities quickly identified and arrested Brown on the platform minutes after the stabbing, and a booking photo was later released by Mecklenburg County law enforcement. On August 22, 2025, at about 9:55 p.m., surveillance footage and police reports show the sequence that would shock a city. At the East-West Boulevard station on Charlotte's Lynx Blue Line, Iryna Zarutska boarded the train and sat down. Minutes later, the suspect, later identified as Brown, pulled a small folding or pocket knife from his hoodie and stabbed her repeatedly, including wounds to the neck. Passengers screamed. The train operator stopped the train, and officers arrived on the platform within minutes. Zarutska was pronounced dead at the scene. Brown exited the train and was arrested on the platform. Multiple official reports note that officers recovered a knife at the scene. Police have released surveillance clips and investigators collected forensic evidence from the car and platform. Authorities say the attack appeared unprovoked. No clear motive has been publicly confirmed. The FBI and local prosecutors later stepped in, citing the location, a mass transit system, and the gravity of the crime. Brown was initially charged in state court with first-degree murder. Federal prosecutors then filed a separate charge under the statute that criminalizes violence on mass transportation systems, a charge that can carry the death penalty. Federal officials said they would pursue the most severe penalties available, given the deliberate nature of the attack and the public safety implications. Brown has pleaded not guilty, or is awaiting plea. Use latest court record if you want to display. The East-West Boulevard station turned into a crime scene, swarming with police, forensic teams, and stunned passengers who had witnessed the killing. Yellow tape cordoned off the platform. Trains were delayed for hours. But for those who saw Iryna Zarutska's last moments, time itself had stopped. Passengers described a scene of chaos, of panic, of helplessness. Within hours, headlines flashed across the United States. Ukrainian refugee murdered in Charlotte train attack. In Ukraine, Iryna's mother and younger brother received the devastating news. A mother who had already lost her husband to war now faced the unbearable grief of losing her daughter to violence in a foreign land. Family friends described the news as a second war, one inside the heart.
Hear them all, every turn a sign appears, melting down, dissolving fears. Oh, the guide inside never lies, leading me through stormy skies.
The courtroom became the new battlefield. Prosecutors laid out every detail: the knife, the footage, the voices of terrified passengers. The jury sat frozen as they replayed the images, Iryna Zarutska's final moments. On the other side, Decarlos Dejuan Brown Jr. sat in silence, expressionless, his past criminal record echoing louder than his words ever could. The state of North Carolina charged him with first-degree murder. Federal prosecutors pursued the rare charge of violence on a mass transportation system, a crime that can carry the death penalty. Brown's lawyers argued mental illness, citing schizophrenia and years of untreated trauma. But for Iryna's family, no explanation could erase the horror of what happened that night. At vigils in Charlotte and across Ukraine, people held candles and spoke her name. Iryna was light in the darkest of times, said one friend. Her brother Ivan held up her photograph in Odessa, whispering, "She left to save us, but we couldn't save her." The case of Iryna Zarutska did more than expose a violent act. It forced America to look in the mirror, to ask why a refugee who escaped bombs was not safe on a city train, to ask how many more names must be added before something changes. Her story does not end in the courtroom. It lives in the hearts of every person who believes in justice, in safety, in humanity. Iryna Zarutska was only 23 years old. A daughter, a sister, a dreamer, taken too soon. Friends, bringing this story to you took a lot of effort and dedication. Your one subscribe will be the greatest gift for me. Hit that subscribe button so every upcoming story reaches you first. And remember, your single click fuels our passion to create more.